Hi, witches. It is Wednesday here on Witches of the Moon, and I'm your sub-host, Nimbus River. So today we're talking about magical names, and I did a video on this topic for my personal channel because it was a request through Facebook, and now I'm getting a redo of this, so I'm super excited about it. And I'm good at it because I use my magical name all the time. So, a little history of magical names. When witchcraft was illegal, this is a theory, by the way. No, this is only theorization. Is that a word? Theoretical. I know that's a word. This is strictly theoretical. I don't think anyone truly knows where the concept of magical names really came from. But this is a theory that magical names came from. The original was an alias to protect yourself when witchcraft was a crime. So when witchcraft was illegal and against the Christian church, it was punishable by death. So you did not want to be involved with witchcraft. You did not want your family members to be condemned of witchcraft. It was a very, especially finicky as the Salem witch trials were, you really didn't want to. You know, such things that, I mean, you wanted to be the staunch Christian as you were because it protected you and your family, even if you didn't believe that way. So they would use aliases when practicing witchcraft, or even the first covens when they grouped together and they practiced in secret. They would use names as not to divulge any secrets or personal information. So then you flash forward to the time of Gerald Gardner and Aleister Crowley in the mid-1900s. Gerald Gardner's magical name was Scire, or S-C-I-R-E, I think. I guess it could be C-Ray, I don't know, or Sire, I don't know. But he actually published a few works under that name before he published it under his true name. And it doesn't really say why, but in a lot of traditions you would rename yourself during a naming ceremony when you dedicated yourself to the path of Wicca. So a lot of books still currently teach you to come up with a magical name. But that is in the Wiccan religion primarily. And I don't even know if Gerald Gardner and the original Wiccans had them for a necessity, or it was just to separate themselves from their separate life, their religious and Wiccan life, and their coven life, because a lot of times the high priestess or high priest would give them the name during the initiate ceremony. And then you've got Aleister Crowley in the ceremonial magicians who would use Latin phrases and name themselves after the Latin phrases. Aleister Crowley was known as Perdurabo, and his full name was Frater Perdurabo, which means, brother, I will endure till the end, or brother, I will endure. But that was a interesting concept to rename yourself, and I think that twisted into what we know now in the current way that witches give themselves names is from nature or something they love or something they're passionate about. And, you know, they do it for different reasons. Some of them do it to, you know, to hide their true identities. Some of them do it to separate themselves from the previous Muggle life that they lived. Some of them do it just because they think it's cool. You know, there's different ways of different ways and reasons why we do it, and none of us are exactly the same, and none of us practice the same. So you'll find a different version every witch you ask who has a magical name. Personally, for me, I use it for 3 reasons. Number one, because my boss has a no media policy and I do not want to get fired, I go around that because I do want to be involved in YouTube and Facebook and get to know my community as a whole, because there are no witches in my area. I live in the Bible Belt of North Carolina, where nobody, if they are practicing witch, they don't say anything because it's shameful, really. So I'm not ashamed of it, but if there are others that are around me, I don't know if they exist because they don't give their names out. But I want to be involved in my community and my global pagan and witch community. So with that being said, I go around that by using my magical name. Second of all, I wanted to, when I started living a magical life, I wanted to separate myself from my previous life, so I renamed myself Nimbus River, with the third being knowing someone's true name gives you power over them. So to give someone out your true name makes you vulnerable to them because they can use that as a magical attack. That's the seventh law of, the seventh law of magic, or I think it's a sub-law. Either way, knowing the true name of an object, idea, or being gives the witch control over that object, idea, or being. Also, giving out their true name makes you vulnerable to other witches or practitioners of magic. So, with all that wonderful being said, I want to tell you how I came up with my magical name. And it's not some ridiculous religious and spiritual journey that I went on to find my name. It's actually pretty damn funny, and I can't believe I'm actually telling you this because I'm a little embarrassed, but because it wasn't a cool experience. I actually was given Nimbus River 159 as my Pottermore username. And when I got Nimbus River, I fell in love with it because I was like, oh my god, this is fate. This has to be my magical name because it connects to me so well. Because I love clouds. I've always been a cloud person. I will go and lay out in the yard and look at clouds on nice days, And there is actually a river by my house at a national park called Raven Rock that I will go to all the time because that is really where, when I was younger and hiking, I had my first really spiritual connection to nature. So it's funny, but it matches me. So you don't have to, you can just say things that you like and make it your magical name. It's totally personal. There's no rules. There's no regulations. Most of us are eclectic anyway, so we're like, phew, we can do whatever the hell we want to. And that includes our names. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. And until next time, blessed be witches. Have a wonderful week.